Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al, week 16, and I got a Monday Night Football Draftkings Showdown slate to talk to you about, and it is not pretty. The Miami Dolphins are squaring off against the New Orleans Saints with absolutely no quarterbacks on the Saints roster. Everybody is either injured or out with COVID. A total between both teams under 40. A mess at running back for Miami. A very good defense in New Orleans. I'm not thrilled about this contest. However, if I'm not thrilled, I assume that a lot of other people aren't thrilled either. And there's a lot of money, I think $500,000 up on top of the flagship tournament on DraftKings. So somebody's got to win it. It might as well be one of us. So we're going to take a look at all those sorts of things. I'm going to take a look through and show you guys how I build groups for and correlations through the Fantasy Labs lineup builder. Which works great with the projections at Establish the Run as well. We'll take a look at the target trees on both teams. We'll do everything that we normally do. Week 15 was ugly. Week 16 was high scoring, but also had a lot of ugliness to it. So it's apropos that our first post-Christmas Day Monday Night Football game is also ugly. So thank you guys for being here, despite the ugly, or in spite of the ugly matchup. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below, and let's get to the game.
He's a legend.
As I mentioned before, the Establish the Run projections work great with the lineup builder over at fantasylabs.com. They're having a breakdown on their stuff. Use promo code SMIZLIFE at checkout as well. Whether you have sports betting available in your state or whether you just play daily fantasy, with the NFL season wrapping up, their NBA package is fantastic. You get a discount at sign up if you utilize that. Going over to this matchup, as I said, it's supremely ugly. Both of these teams, Miami just likes to run the ball. They play very good defense and they blitz the hell out of opponents. Jalen Waddle, he's back here, and look, 9 or more targets in 4 of the last 5 games, even longer than that. You know, double-digit targets in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games so far this year. The rookie is doing exceptionally well. I believe that he would be doing even better if Will Fuller had played this season, if they had everybody on this team to pull from. But he's done a fantastic job this year, leading rookies in catches, leading rookies in receiving yards. 5 touchdowns on the year. That should increase as time goes on. Love him for the rest of this season and moving into the future once we get into best ball stuff for the offseason. However, he will benefit in this game because of the matchup that Devontae Parker theoretically should get against Lattimore on the Saints. So Parker's going to get the toughest matchup. He's going to let Waddle just kind of run around on the field, hopefully, freely, running a lot of his routes out of the slot and shorter and intermediate routes, and Parker being the more polished and professional wide receiver. Taking a look at their targets that they have, Jalen Waddle leading the team with 23%, Gesicki at 18.86. This includes all year long, like every game, it's cumulative. So like that, the 10% of targets for Devontae Parker includes a lot of the games that he missed. Like, as you can see, he's got a lot of gaps in here. So like NFL Savant uses kind of a cumulative view of things. So I think that Parker's going to draw the toughest matchup in this game, and that means that Waddle's going to roam free. And then looking at the other side, I think that Waddle and maybe Alvin Kamara are the two most optimal captains on this. It's ugly. Like I'm going to change the way that I do things for this slate. I'm going to make one of those tweaks, right? We do that from time to time. We have our game plan that we go with, and then we adjust as new information or a different type of game plan is going to get out there. So Alvin Kamara, probably your optimal captain on the Saints. So going back to Miami, if I'm going to utilize Waddle as the captain, I'm going to make sure that I have Tua Tagovailoa tied to him. Same goes if you think that, you know, Al, you're wrong, and I think that Lattimore is just going to follow Waddle all over the field, and you want to play Parker off of him or possibly Gesicki off of him. I'm going to tie Tua to them as well, because if they have a monster game that is indicative of them being the optimal captain, then the quarterback is going to have a good game as well and going to be dragged along, right? We talk usually about, if the quarterback has a good game, dragging some receivers along with him. The 500-pound gorilla in the room is the running back situation for Miami. Now, last week we had Myles Gaskin coming off the COVID list on Friday, and we have seen players, Lamar Jackson, now Myles Gaskin, goodness, I forget it. Odell Beckham Jr. When these guys came off that first week, they didn't. Or Amari Cooper, when they came off that first week, they don't get a lot of run. They don't play a full complement of snaps. It is a respiratory disease or virus as it stands. So it stands to reason that they don't have their full conditioning right when they come off of their first week back off of COVID. So teams have been easing these guys back into play. They don't play a full complement of snaps. They don't get their usual share. Now, this is a weird week. Gaskin is priced at 7,400 in the flex. We also have last week's hero, Duke Johnson, who came out of nowhere, and nobody knew that he was going to get the 23 touches that he got last weekend and did exceptionally well with them, scoring 2 touchdowns and 107 yards. He's priced right up there with Myles Gaskin. DraftKings doing what they had to do to make this slate not get broken with the 2 guys who project to be the main guy for Miami. So it's kind of pick one or pick the other. And people are going to flip a coin and say, well, I'm going to go with Duke Johnson. Or people are going to say, well, Duke Johnson's the guy that was there last year. I think they go back, or last week, I think they go back to Myles Gaskin. The problem with all of this is that now Philip Lindsay was a full participant in practice and should get some snaps and usage. Salvin Ahmed also got 8 touches in the last game and is back and there and healthy, and they have they can activate Malcolm Brown as well. So it's a 5-headed mess right now for Miami, and I cannot speak with any sort of assuredness, at least not 24 hours before the game kicks off, as to who will be the guy. So knowing that we're going to have to monitor inactives going into tomorrow night as it pertains to the Miami Dolphins running back situation, if all 5 are active, I'm sorry, but we're screwed. I wish I had something better that I could tell you, but realistically speaking, if 4 of this 5 are active, it is a hot mess, and it puts us in a position where a lot of lineups are going to be drawing dead, as we are going to be guessing at best as which one gets more snaps and touches between Myles Gaskin and Duke Johnson, especially with those other 2 or 3 possibles who will be active as well. If you're going to be playing the quarterbacks, and typically on a slate like this, we are not going to be playing the quarterbacks at captain because unlikely that either of them is going to be the highest scoring guy, you're going to want to make sure that you build your group with at least 2 of the pass catchers. These would be the 3 primaries for them. Isaiah Ford has done some good things. They use a lot of tight ends with this team. Mac Hollins has been involved when they get close, and the kicker also correlates very well. On the other side for New Orleans, Ian Book, Notre Dame, is going to be starting as the quarterback, as everybody else is either injured or out with health and safety restrictions between Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill, leaving Ian Book as the only guy. If you are a brave soul who wants to plug in Ian Book at captain, I'm going to be utilizing the same rules that go along with him, but more likely Alvin Kamara is going to be your optimal captain and should also theoretically lead that team in terms of target market share. In the games that he's been healthy, he has done just that. Marquez Callaway has inched ahead recently because of the games that were missed by Alvin Kamara, but Kamara in the games that he's healthy has led this team in targets. Then we have Deontay Harris, Traquan Smith, Troutman, Ingram. Again, this game, I hate this game. This game is such a mess tomorrow night, but we're going to play it, so we got to talk about it. If you're going to be plugging Callaway, if you think that he can catch a long touchdown and then maybe add like a little fade route or a back shoulder to be the optimal captain, I am going to be tying Ian Book to that, because if he is the optimal captain, that means Ian Book had a fantastic game. You don't need to do the same if you're going to be using Alvin Kamara in those lineups. And if you are a brave soul who's going to be using Ian Book at captain, I'm going to be making sure I am going to include Alvin Kamara in those Ian Book lineups, but I'm probably not going to have very many at all. Marquez Keller, they signed the venerable Blake Bortles to be their backup. Mahler is going to be tied to the quarterback, as they correlate very well. If the Saints do score 28 points or 24 points or more, the kicker did have a good game, and it's also very possible that these teams are going to stall out and not score touchdowns. Ty Montgomery, Humphrey, my favorite name in the league right now, Lil Jordan Humphrey, with everybody else that's out, right? Like Harris is on COVID. The whole team is basically out. Troutman, it's brutal. It's just awful. So I think we're going to get a lot of 5-1s with Miami. I think we're going to get a lot of 4-2s with Miami. And I think that as we go over to the Fantasy Labs lineup builder, that took a second. I'm going to load up my template here for Showdown. I'm usually not going to allow kicker or defense at captain. I may change that rule for this Showdown. I have not decided. I might allow one defense, but not both to be in the captain spot. Who knows? It's one of those ugly games like we saw with New England, where they were the optimal defense. I am also going to change our limit at most defense and kickers to 1 to allowing 2, and I'll make some very specific rules as far as that's concerned as well. Pair your captain quarterback with at least 2 of the pass catchers from their team, but I'm probably not going to have a lot of quarterback captains in this game because I don't think they can do a ton of work. Usually I stay below a cumulative 15% between both quarterbacks at captain. I'm probably going to stay under like 6 or 8 on a slate like this, and hopefully one of the players gets there, or a defensive kicker, which I may allow in captain and have not decided yet. Pair your captain quarterback with at least one of the opponents. Pair the captain wide receiver with their quarterback. Pair the captain tight end with their quarterback as well. And then we're going to build that low played player group, add group of at least one of 5 to 8 different players that you think, based on the projections that come out, which are not out as I record this video, that are going to be under like 25%. I typically cap those at 30% overall to make sure that I'm getting a sprinkling of all these guys, because Showdown is a game that is going to be split between a ton of different people. And when we win, we do not want to split with 100 to 1,000 different people. We want to split with maybe 5 or 10. Hopefully you can take one down solo, but that's usually not an option. So put yourself in a position to, when you win the most. As we saw with we came in second in 2 different ones where we would have won like $35,000 and $50,000, and I was lucky enough to take one down earlier this season for $140,000. So when we win, we want to win the most. The last thing you want is to take down a Showdown holding hands with 850 different people and you win like $1,000 on the main slate instead of 5 or possibly 6 figures. So thank you guys for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't use any of these lineups. This is a first run, has not been manicured at all. Hopefully you're not fast forwarding to get to this spot, because all these lineups on the screen are pretty useless. But best of luck to you on Monday night. Do the work. Find the results. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.